Here I am. And here we go. Hello, everybody. I hope everyone can see me as we get ready for a brand new Feuerstein's Fire American Soccer Show here on StreamYard. My name is Daniel Feuerstein. This is episode number 662. It's a continuation from Blog Talk Radio. Hope everyone is ready to go and happy to see me. Welcome back, everybody, as we are ready here and getting ready to talk about American soccer back here on StreamYard. My name is Daniel Feuerstein. Welcome back, everybody. I'm glad everyone's here to see me and ready to go. And, I just have to say that, when I wanted, when I found out, I should say, that Blog Talk Radio was ceasing operations, and I thought maybe there was a time where I thought maybe I've done enough. Maybe I did enough already. I had over a decade worth of shows, and maybe it was time to not even do this show anymore. I said to myself, maybe it's time to say goodbye and just move on. But unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately. I took some time. And at the same time, I've been doing other video recordings through Beyond the 90 at beyondthe90.substack.com, and, got comfortable with that. And then, hearing the positives of those Beyond the 90 videos that I did, and it brought me back to say, what, I want to do a show again. I want to do my show again, and here I am. Of course, your American soccer show, your clubs, your leagues, players, national teams, and other fabulous moments. You can get your daily reading from me over at Beyond the 90 at beyondthe90.substack.com. If you are a New York Red Bulls supporter, I have now, on a temporary basis, I am with Bad Dog Sports. Mr. J.J. Pavlik, who's been a guest on my show a couple of times, he's going through an injury currently, and he's going to be sidelined for a while. He has not had the procedure yet, but it's a very serious back injury, and so I will be taking over not just New York Red Bulls coverage for him, but also New York City FC coverage until he returns. So for now, I will be doing all soccer all the time at this point in time with Bad Dog Sports. And I want to thank my managing editor, Anthony Merced from AJMSportsFC.com, to allow me to help out JJ Pavlik, taking over and covering both New York City clubs. And when he comes back, and hopefully he'll be back better than ever. Can't wait to have him back out here and doing a job. So once again, it is it is imperative and important to make sure that I get to do this. And of course, look, it's a tedious job, stressful job, obviously. But currently, what will happen now is just getting ready to bring back American soccer talk for all of you. And I'm excited about it. As you can see, this is officially my show. You can see right there. I'm pointing right there to the screen, the top right corner, the Feuerstein's Fire logo. So as you know, this is officially my show, no one else's. And I'm very happy to have these discussions with you and getting ready to talk more about American soccer. Now, tonight I have no guests. This is the very first show to my new home here at StreamYard. So that means that, number one, I want to make sure that I feel comfortable being on this platform. I may not have guests here and there. sooner, hopefully, rather than later, I will bring back guests and we will have some fun. But for now, it feels pretty good to be in this platform here on StreamYard. And I'm very grateful that they are available for me and ready to go. So let's go ahead and talk about something that's kind of close to my heart in certain ways. And that is the U.S. men's national team. Now, obviously, I've already made a video about it on Beyond the 90, but now that I have my own show again, I can give you my full, broad opinion about what we saw this past March at the CONCACAF Nations League semifinals and third place match against Panama on Thursday and against Canada on Sunday. And what I saw between those two matches against their opponents was a complete disrespect of the jersey, a complete disrespect of the national team, a complete disrespect of their head coach, Mauricio Pochettino. The only two players, maybe even three players that I can tell or I could see wanted to do well: Diego Luna of Real Salt Lake, Patrick Agimang, I have tried to make sure I pronounce his name correctly here, of Charlotte FC, and when he was subbed in, Brian White of the Vancouver Whitecaps. Outside of that, I saw nothing else from the rest of the team. I saw absolutely nothing else. They didn't try to break down their opponents. They were very lazy. They were sloppy. They put themselves in offside positions, because if they were not in an offside position on the goal attempt by Josh Sargent, well, then maybe, just maybe, that would have been a 1-0 lead, and maybe we wouldn't have to worry about anything else. You see, I understand when you have former players like Landon Donovan going onto social media and absolutely ripping these players, ripping them, because these players of today are going to Europe, playing for some of the best clubs in the world. AC Milan has Christian Pulisic and Yunus Musa. Juventus has Weston McKennie and Tim Weah. Borussia Dortmund has Giovanni Reina. Tyler Adams is on Bournemouth. Josh Sargent, even though he's on Norwich in the Championship League, still though, you're in England. England is difficult in all levels. And, rumors going around where you're seeing other American players maybe making transfers to Germany, to Italy, to Spain, to England. And to me, at the same time, I don't care if they are playing outside the top 4 European leagues at clubs like where Ricardo Pepe is with PSG Eindhoven. I don't care if Johnny Cardoso is at Real Betis. I don't care if you have Americans. Obviously, Cameron Carter-Vickers is over with Celtic, but I don't care. Anthony Robinson, who's injured currently, he's over at Fulham. As long as you're getting minutes and you're performing and you're starting, you should be on the national team. Now, we have an issue here with our goalkeepers. In the past, there was no issues. Whether you were Brad Friedel, whether you were Casey Keller, whether you were Tim Howard, Brad Guzan, currently Gaga Slonina, and of course, other Americans who are goalkeeping in Europe. We haven't had a problem with that until now. And that problem currently is with Matt Turner, and it was a problem with Zach Steffen. Now, if you saw on Paramount Plus and, of course, Golazo Network, you saw Tony Meola, former U.S. men's national team goalkeeper, currently an analyst on CBS Sports Golazo Network, at the desk table at the Nations League with Kate Smith, Thierry Henry, Maurice Adu, Clint Dempsey, and Charlie Davies. And Tony Meola explained on that desk and in the past, whether it be his time on Sirius XM FC or even on the Golazo Network, Matt Turner is not playing. He's not starting. He's not getting proper minutes for his club team. Whether he started off at Arsenal, then he went to Nottingham Forest. Now he's currently on loan at Crystal Palace. He's not starting. He's not starting, and his form has dipped. Now, I'm not saying he's not a good shot stopper, but if you remember the attempt he made to stop that ball from crossing over the goal line against Panama, he looked terrible. No burst under his legs. He took a hop, and he had no power underneath his legs. Tony Meola, the man himself, Tony Meola, found a way to basically, when he was playing on the national team, either domestically or abroad, always got minutes. The goalkeeper position, which was our best position for the national team, that they would always be starting, always doing great, you didn't have a problem with it, and then all of a sudden, you have a problem. You have a problem, and you just can't see that happening. So, if I'm Matt Turner, I would be looking for another club who will start me. But here's my other thing too. And I really believe that this is also the fault of some of these clubs with their goalkeepers coaches. Why can't you help them? Or if you're saying you're trying, maybe you're not trying hard enough. But I digress. And this is the fault of Mauricio Pochettino. While it's great that Matt Turner is in Europe, if he's not starting, well then Zach Steffen should be starting. But he's back in Major League Soccer. It does not matter anymore. See, when Zach Steffen was at Manchester City, Zach Steffen could not get on the pitch in a Premier League match his entire career. He was the backup. He was only used during League Cup matches and the FA Cup matches. That's it. Ederson, the starting goalkeeper for Manchester City, who's also Brazil's starting goalkeeper for their national team, is the full-time starter. And the only time Zach Steffen played in a Premier League match was during the COVID years when FIFA crammed 3 qualifying matches in one whole week. Ederson could not return to Manchester, England to play a Premier League match. That fell to Zach Steffen. And even though Zach Steffen won, did it give him a second game to play? No. Zach Steffen went back to backup goalkeeping duties. You're going to be starting in a League Cup and or an FA Cup match. When Matt Turner got the opportunities to be a goalkeeper for Arsenal when they transferred him to their club from the New England Revolution, I was shocked that Mikel Arteta started him in a Europa League match. I think all the group stage matches that he started, Matt Turner. And I just said to myself, that's pretty darn good. That's pretty darn bold. And he just one-upped Zach Steffen. But unfortunately, he transferred over to Nottingham Forest. They used him, but then they just weren't doing anything. And then he was really making a mess of things. And then they replaced him with the backup to become the starter. And so for Matt Turner, he's basically a product of his own demise. So all I can say is, ladies and gentlemen, is that while, look, I would love for Matt Turner to start for the national team. I would love for him to be starting in Europe as well. But if he's not starting, why is he being considered as the starting goalkeeper of the U.S. men's national team when he's barely playing in England? He's on loan at Crystal Palace right now. Does that mean he's getting opportunities? No. And if there was a FA Cup or a League Cup match, he would be playing in it, but he's not. Because Crystal Palace is already done and dusted. When I go on social media, I want to inform all of you of what's going on. I want to inform all of you the situations that's going on, not just with league-wise and MLS, USL, NISA, NPSL, League for Clubs, so on and so on. But I also want to keep you, informed about what's going on in Europe, or at least abroad with our players. And what shtick do I get? What is the common narrative that I get? Americans who are not playing abroad, who are playing in Major League Soccer, should not be on the U.S. men's national team. That is a fallacy. That is false. And you know what? That's wrong. Going back to Zach Steffen, I had an argument against several of those fans once, long time ago, and they said to me, "Well, Zach Steffen's training with the best players in the world." Well, if that's the case, then give Zach Steffen a trophy for best training facility or best training matches, and give him a medal and let him celebrate it with his with his mates during the training facility. Because if you get a trophy for training, well, then Zach Steffen is the one. Now it's Matt Turner's turn. Congratulations, Matt Turner. You get yourself a trophy for being with training matches, because you're training with the best players in the world. Does that make any sense to all of you? Does that make any type of sense to all of you? Does it? No, it doesn't. And it shouldn't. And, this is also U.S. Soccer's fault, because while I understand that Matt Turner, should be on the national team, but if he's not starting, then he shouldn't be starting himself. It should be either Zach Steffen, maybe it should be Patrick Schulte. Maybe it's time to put in Matt Freese. Maybe it's time to put in Chris Brady. Because why? Because they're getting minutes. Now, I understand that Gaga Slonina is on loan currently, even though he did sign with Chelsea. He's on loan with somewhere in Europe. I don't know where. I have to look it up. But if he's on loan and he's starting, and if he's doing well, then I guess we're going to have to give Gaga Slonina an opportunity. But he's not going to get an opportunity now. Because you want to know why? We're too close to the World Cup itself. And that's why we're getting ready for the next cycle after next year, June and July comes and goes, when the greatest party comes to our nation, along with our friends up north in Canada and down south in Mexico. Look, when I say these things, I'm not criticizing people. I'm telling the truth. I want to tell the truth, and I want to tell all of you why it's the truth. Because I want our national team to finally win that little golden trophy and say we are the first nation outside of outside of UEFA and CONMEBOL to win the World Cup. If it's not Argentina, it's Brazil. If it's not Brazil, it's Uruguay. If it's not Uruguay, it's Germany. If it's not Germany, it's Italy. If it's not Italy, it's France. If it's not France, it's Spain. It's the Netherlands. It could be England for the second time in their lifetime. I mean, there are plenty of opportunities here, folks. But I want our national team to be the first nation outside of those two continents of South America and Europe to finally lift that golden trophy, that little golden trophy, and take our first World Cup title. But narratives for our national team will not work. Having players being told, or having our head coach telling him, select this guy and select him to start on the national team, should not be working either. And this is where, and I have to say it, this is one of the issues that we have for our national team and why we're never going to win a World Cup at all. Watching what happened in March, no urgency, no finding different ways to break down Panama. And as much as if you want to blame Mauricio Pochettino for certain things, that's fine. But you can't blame him for everything, because this time it's on the players. And make no mistake about this, because when I say this, I'm being truthful about it, because when we had Greg Berhalter for 2 cycles, technically 1.5 in reality, under Berhalter, he cannot manage the international game. His way of thinking is flawed, and he has to understand that you're not getting your players every single week like you do on a club team. And trying to turn the men's national team into Barcelona does not work. If you want to be a club head coach like he's now with the Chicago Fire, I can understand this. On a national team, it's basically get the kitchen sink out and throw it out there and see what sticks. And then you're going to have to, basically adapt as you go along. This is really, really hard. And when Landon Donovan and Eric Winalda, former men's national team players who have played for the jerseys, played for our country, who was playing not just for themselves, but their families, but for the federation and for us, and the sport in our nations, in our American nation, they felt insulted. They felt like they've been slapped across the face. And at the same time, someone snuck up behind them and smacked them upside the head. We cannot have that. We cannot have that. And So far, folks, this is what all of you need to understand. For those of you who believe that only Americans who play abroad should be on the men's national team, you've lost the plot. Your narratives are adding on to the problems with the fandom of our national team. We cannot allow this to happen. We cannot allow this to stand. And so far, there's a lot of good people who want to cover the men's national team, who want to talk about the men's national team. And so far, you've turned them off. You've switched them off. You're attacking people on social media for no reason whatsoever. I don't know what to say, and I don't know what to tell you. But one thing is for sure, folks. Everything that I am saying to you is the truth because I care. I care about what this men's national team does, and I care about you, the fans. I'm here to educate. I'm not here to berate. But you need to learn something, and you need to learn something quickly for those of you that keep saying only Americans who play abroad should be on the national team, none from MLS. It's impossible. You cannot. It cannot happen. If you cannot allow players who are up-and-comers for this men's national team to be on this team, how are they going to make this move to Europe if they can't be seen on an international stage? From the youth teams to the senior team, this is how this stuff works. It's not just what they do on their club team, it's what they've done on the international stage as well. The two must come together. So if you want to understand how these things work, that's what it is. And listen, if that's your opinion, I understand, and that's fine if that's your opinion. But I have to tell you, unfortunately, that opinion is flawed. And this is why I keep saying everything has to be intertwined. Because if it's not, then we're going to regress in the worst way. And if not qualifying for Russia for the 2018 World Cup was bad enough, do you want to fall backwards and we don't qualify for multiple World Cups anymore? That's the problem. And next time I come on and do another show, we'll get to another issue down the road. We'll talk about it here. We'll talk about there. But for now, I'm just going to stick with the national team. Because as I said, there are, and I apologize, my nose is very, very itchy right now. But as I'm saying to you, everything is intertwined with our national team. And so all I can tell you is this. If we do not make ourselves better in all levels of the game, we're going to fall again. And I don't want that. And this is where I try to temper everything that's being said, whether it be on social media, on podcasts, other levels, whether it be CBS Sports Golazo Network for morning footy, box to box, maybe even Alexi Lawless's podcast, Sirius XMFC. We need to understand something here, and that is this. We need cooler heads to prevail, and we cannot fly off the handle. Now, whether I'm being too cautious, this is not about being too cautious. This is about the reality of the situation. Because, you see, while we play in a region called CONCACAF, and yes, it's not the strongest region at all. We have more minnows than we have great teams. Mexico, us, Costa Rica. Um, Now Canada has improved. Panama has improved. Honduras slowly on falling. Jamaica has been up and down a tiny bit. Trinidad and Tobago is really up and down. Don't get me started on them. But then you're seeing nations like Curacao, who is a Dutch island. They bring over a former Dutch men's national team head coach in Dick Advocaat, and he's got them back to where they are. Panama, which was never a dangerous team until recently, ever since hiring Thomas Christensen as their head coach, has been tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Steve McLaren, who has managed many clubs in England, was also their men's national team head coach, now taking over Jamaica. Jesse Marsh, who's an American, look what he's done for Canada. He's improved them. He's made them better. And you know what? Now they've beaten the U.S. twice in a friendly and in the third place match at the Nations League. They even finished third place in the Copa America last year in the summertime. So while we were kind of floundering here, you know what? Now we have everyone else that's improving. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be worse than British Virgin Islands, worse than Montserrat, Anguilla, Aruba, Bahamas, Bermuda, or Guyana, or even the non-FIFA nations like French Guyana, like Martinique, like Saint Martin, and of course the Dutch version, Saint Martin. No, I'm not saying that. But you cannot fall asleep on those types of nations. Guadeloupe has proven they're dangerous. Yes, they are a territory of France, but they have solid players on that team. And they do play for clubs, whether it be on their island or also playing in France, in one of the top leagues in all of France. Now, don't forget, you have these French islands under French law. These are players, if they get discovered by the French Football Federation, they automatically play for France. And then when they retire from France, they can play for their islands as an amateur. But then again, that rule has been changed, so maybe that's no longer in play. But I want everyone to understand the situation that we have here for our men's national team. This is what our players need to know, and this is what you need to know. This confederation is no longer a cakewalk. This is no longer just U.S. versus Mexico. This confederation is dangerous away from our shores. But now it's come to our shores in 3 separate tournaments that Panama eliminated our men's national team. The Gold Cup under B.J. Callahan, the Copa America under Greg Berhalter, and now the Nations League under Mauricio Pochettino. Everyone needs to understand this and understand this clearly, is that we cannot sleep and assume we're going to put them away. Our guys must put in the work, and they must, I stress this, they must pretend our American flag is draped over their shoulders and they're running around with or without the ball, pretending that American flag is on their shoulders. And when they defend, when they attack, and when they score a goal, celebrate for your country, for your flag, for your family, for your teammates, for yourselves, and for us, the American fans. Because if they don't do that, they should be off the team. That's right. They should be off the team. And that's why Donovan said what he said. It's nice they're playing in some of these best clubs in the world, but if you don't want to play for the national team, then decline the invite. I don't have a problem with what Landon Donovan said. In fact, I agree with it. We cannot afford, with the only competitive window remaining before the World Cup comes here in June of 2026, is the CONCACAF Gold Cup. The draw is this Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, streaming live on YouTube, on their YouTube channel. Because after this Gold Cup, the rest are friendlies, and that's it. During the second round of World Cup qualifying in CONCACAF, the U.S. men's national team will play 2 friendlies in June against Turkey and Switzerland. So, you got to make it count. And while they'll probably be missing Tim Weah and Weston McKennie because they'll be performing for Juventus at the FIFA Club World Cup, we're going to have Pulisic. We're going to have Musa. We'll probably have Gio Reyna. We'll probably have Tyler Adams. I don't know if we'll get anybody else. But the rest of it will be coming from MLS players. And thankfully, except for maybe one match in June during the group stage, we'll be free and clear of any interference of league matches. So all I can tell you is this. It's time for these guys to either put up or shut up. It's time for these guys to understand something here. And that is this. You cannot, I repeat this and I stress this, you cannot assume being in this Gold Cup's a cakewalk. Because there are nations right now that are looking to improve, and they have, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I want to see our players have the will, not just the skill, but to have the will to go out there and perform at their best. Because if they don't, then I don't believe they deserve to be called into the men's national team for the World Cup. And I would rather have the entire roster, friendlies, in September, October, November, and in 2026, I would rather have all MLS players who are Americans be on the national team because they'll give more heart and soul and passion than our players so far showed that come over from Europe. If we're going to have players that are going to be cancerous, then we have to eliminate the cancer. Because if they don't want to show what they can do for us and for themselves, then they don't deserve to wear that jersey. If that crest was right here over my heart, I would tell them, right here, I would tell them, you don't deserve to wear this jersey. You don't deserve to have the USA crest over your hearts. Go home and let somebody else do the work. Look, I understand Anthony Robinson is hurt. I understand Ricardo Pepe is hurt. I understand Serginho Dest is coming back from injury. Hopefully he'll be ready to go. But those 2 or 3 players should not be the only ones to bring the passion or the heart to the roster. That should have been done right away. And even though Christian Pulisic is the most famous American player on this national team outside of Landon Donovan, or since Landon Donovan, it just looks like he just can't handle the captain's armband. And, maybe it's time to give it to somebody else. Maybe it's time to give it back to Tyler Adams, who was the captain at the World Cup in Qatar. Because if this is the one obstacle that's preventing him from doing a job, well then, I hate to say it, then he shouldn't be having it. And that's all I can say about this right now. So, just a quick recap here. Obviously, these are guys who are playing abroad. When you come back over, you don't leave your heart and passion for your country with your club side in Europe. You take it with you when you come back to play for the men's national team. It's time for you to understand Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Tim Weah, Yunus Musa, Matt Turner. Either get your acts together or decline the invite. And to all of you that has this belief that only Americans who play abroad should be on the national team, one more time, that's the wrong way of thinking. That's not how this works. And regardless of what you may think, because I will fight you this until the end, that is the wrong mentality. Listen, I know there are flaws inside Major League Soccer. I am aware of it. But I will not, I repeat, I will not shoot it down because we need this league to do what they're supposed to do. Giving our future players for the national team proper minutes so they can be transferring to Europe and be a part of the national team for the future. I understand USL now has been given Division I status for 2027-28 season. They're going to institute the whole pro rel, which I'm happy about. And I'm also not happy about it. We'll get to that another time. Because I want this to be universal up and down across the board, every single league in American soccer. Not just for one group and one group only, for the entire pyramid, or the so-called pyramid that we have here. MLS has their flaws. They need to be called out for it. Even though I cover an MLS club, but I'm not happy with what they've done. Until then, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe get sped up with this whole situation. I don't know, but we'll get to it in a minute. And we'll get to it in another time, I should say. But still, though, I'm not happy with what's going on right now with American soccer on the domestic levels. Now, once again, this Thursday is the CONCACAF Gold Cup. The draw for the group stage will be on Thursday, April the 10th at 7 o'clock Eastern on CONCACAF's YouTube channel. Also, this Tuesday and Wednesday, CONCACAF Champions Cup quarterfinals second leg. Should be exciting on that one. And then the week after that, third round proper, the 2025 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. And then their draw on Thursday, April the 17th. And those matches will start on CBS Sports channels and digital platforms, CBS Sports Network, CBS Sports Golazo Network, and the Paramount Plus website and app. And we'll have more on that next Monday. I'm going to try and do a Gold Cup draw review show on Thursday. So stay tuned for that when we get there. And it should be exciting, should be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen there. Well, this will do it for the very first episode here on StreamYard, episode 662 altogether here of the Feuerstein's Fire American Soccer Show. My name is Daniel Feuerstein. Thank you very much for watching me tonight. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, as always, please enjoy your football. Thank you. Have a good night. Take care. So long and bye-bye for now. Have a good night, everybody. And once again, there we go. Enjoy your football. Thank you for sticking around. And before I even say good night, for those of you following me on social media, whether it be on Twitter, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, I just want to let all of you know, thank you very much for your positive feedback, your likes, and just grateful to see that people missed me doing my show. I'm very happy. I'm grateful. Look, I do it for all of you, not just for myself. I do it for you. I do it for the sport in this country. I put my own name, my own voice, now my image on the line for all of you because I care about this game in this country and I want it to succeed, not just domestically, not just internationally, confederation-wise, but around the world. Because I want everyone to know we can play this game too. And once again, enjoy your football, folks. Thank you. Have a good night. Take care. So long, and bye-bye for now.